Alright, so I got everything loaded up in the van. This right here is actually a K24 tranny off an Accord. I was going to use it for the MR2 to help mock stuff up, but the bolt pattern on top right here is actually different, so there's a couple other things that are different about it as well. And most of the people that have the conversion kits for the MR2 stuff use the standard K20 transmission anyway, and so not this style right here. And I was just borrowing this one from Brent, so I'm going to go ahead and give it back since I'm heading over to PFI today. So that's why that's in here. And I also got my block and tranny, and the head is in the front of the car. So hopefully get the block and tranny cleaned off, get the valve seals put into the head, and pretty much it, and also pick up my parts. Brent just messaged me this morning and he said he has all my parts ready for me, so I did get the pistons today, so I can probably go ahead and start building the block today. I forgot to delete everything we filmed yesterday on my memory card, so I didn't really film much at PFI because I ran out of memory. I did pick up all my parts. The only thing I need right now is the clutch and possibly the crank. I did order the clutch like today, so I just got that coming. The crank, I'm not sure if I'm gonna need a new one or not, because this one over here was the one I was gonna use, but it has some minor scratches on it and I need to get it checked out just to be sure. So I'm not sure about the crank quite yet, so I might not be able to put it all back together tonight, but I did get everything else. I got my rods, rod bearings, main bearings, pistons, oil pump, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And a head gasket's over there. And right now what I'm fixing to do, yeah, also when I was at PFI, I didn't get my transmission or block cleaned off because his little like heater thing in the hot tank wasn't working, so he hasn't fixed that yet. And also I was gonna do the valve seals over there as well, but he didn't really have the bench space to do it, so I'm just gonna do it here. I got my head set up right here, and I went to O'Reilly's and ordered or rented out a little valve spring compressor, and these are the valve seals right here. So what I'm gonna do is, hopefully this tool will work, and I'm gonna put that on all these little springs right here, compress these guys down and get the valves out of there and pop some new valve seals in there. So I'm gonna get to that right now. Also, while I'm in there, I did pick up some like valve lapping stuff. This is for like reseating the valves. So while I'm doing this, I might as well get all that done. But for right now, I'm gonna start by pulling these bolts off on top and get this whole little rocker assembly off, and then I'm gonna start pulling all the valves apart. So yeah. Also, while I was at PFI, I did hone my block out. I just ran a ball hone through each cylinder. I forgot to mention that. So can't really see it on the camera. You can kind of see it. You can see this little scratches on the inside right there. So I did film that, but there was a car like running in the background, so I didn't really talk through it at all. But I will show you a quick video of how I was doing it. All it was a ball hone on the end of a drill, and I was just running that through each cylinder, kind of nice and slow. I sped it up. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Just got to get the scratches in there. But just ran that ball hone through there to get these all scuffed up, so when I put the rings, or put the pistons in with the new rings, they'll seat to the cylinder walls. So the block's all good to go. So I just got these 10 bolts off that were right here. This thing was sitting on top like that. There's these little cylinder things. I'm not sure what they're for, but those will fall out if you lose track of them. And so right now there's also these two other bolts on the ends here that need to come off as well. And I just got those off. So now I think I can pry this whole thing off. I'm not sure, I've never done it on a single cam, but I'm just gonna shove a screwdriver under there and hopefully this all pops off. Alright, so I just got the whole rocker assembly off. As you can see right here, that's my camshaft, and these are all the little valve springs and retainers. So these are actually the valve right there. And now what I need to do is, hopefully this little janky thing from O'Reilly's will work, but I'm guessing that just kind of clamps on the bottom of the spring and kind of compresses the spring down like that. And actually this might not even work. I don't think this is meant for Hondas, because this little middle piece, I'm pretty sure that these little prongs are supposed to rest on top of the retainer right there and kind of hold it while these bottom ones pull the spring up and compress it, but it's a little too big and it just fits right around it. So to make this work, I might have to bend these guys closer together so they catch on the top of that retainer right there. So we'll see. I'm gonna mess around with this a little bit and see if I can make it work. All right, so I've been messing with this thing for a while. I did bend these two prongs together. I just bent them back out because I plan on returning it. But even with those bent in, it's just not gonna work. These springs are just too small for this design. These little prongs on the end like hardly fit in there and they just pop out. So pretty much this will not work for compressing these valve springs. So all we can do for right now, since pretty much everywhere is closed, we're just gonna try to make our own like valve spring compressor. That's Charlie's old wrench motor mount. So what we're gonna do is drill 2 little notches in it so we can bolt it to the head, and then we'll just weld a plate off of this or something, and then just put like a nut, weld a nut to that, and then put a bolt through that nut, and then hopefully that can like just screw in onto this retainer right here, and then we'll just make some little thing that kind of goes around it so we can still reach these little retainer clips, and then we'll just tighten that down and compress these guys. That would be the plan, at least. In theory it should work, but we're not sure if we have everything or not to make it, but we can try because we have nothing else to do for tonight. Okay, so here's what we have so far on the homemade valve spring compressor. We got 2 notches cut out right there on Charlie's old wrench mount, and then what we're gonna do is somehow put a plate on there to fit this, well not this actually, to put this is a lug nut right here, and we need to get this like welded onto that, like somewhere right in here, like with a piece of metal sticking off of that. We need to get this directly above the retainer right here, and then this screw will be able to go through that nut and push down on it right here. But if it were to just push on it like that, then that wouldn't get us anywhere because we need to get these 2 little retaining clips out. And so then what we'll do is, this is a piece of Charlie's old pit bike handlebars. So I just cut this up, and then I cut this little notch out of it, and this will actually push down on it just like that, and actually push down, and then we'll be able to get those little retainer clips out of there with this cutout I got on it. So
the clutch bolts fit perfectly.
So, I mean, it's on there. And then yeah, see, this is the little piece I cut out right here, and I'm just gonna hammer this flat and weld it on top of there, and then just cut out a little hole right there. So then this, where it tapers down on this bolt, that can fit inside, and then it'll just screw down, and then the bolt will turn inside of it, and then this won't actually turn at all. It'll just stay straight as it tightens everything down. So we'll see if this works, but we still have to get a couple more things done to it.
Here's the first prototype.
Yeah, this is what we got. So we got the nut welded on right here, then a plate to the wrench mount, and then the little thing I made down at the bottom out of the handlebars, just with a hole in the top of it. So it's not all the way welded together, but it's pretty solid. So we're gonna see if it'll work. We'll find out. Yeah, that guy slipped off right away. This might not be lined up perfectly, and it is hot. That's not gonna work.
You could
like
weld
that.
a plate off this.
I just want to see if he'll push it down first on its own. Oh yeah, dude, if we could find a good thing to get on there, dude, it tightens it down good. Like, it's not even hard on it. Like, I have no doubt that's gonna hold together. Okay guys, so it's actually kind of working right now. It's almost there. It should come out like that. No, they're not enough out yet. Oh, there goes one.
Popped itself out.
See if you can get the magnet on that other one. Let's see it. Got it. Can't believe that worked. Dude, putting that back on is gonna be a bitch. Oh well. Well, this might just work for us. Might tweak it a little bit, but we still need to add another piece off right here to get this side. But at least with this one, we can do all the left side ones for now, and at least get all the valves out. So I don't know, we'll see. But it worked. So it's not a complete failure. All right guys, so here's our finished product. It actually does work. I already got the clip off for this side, just one of them. So I have 3 total right now. And these are the little guys that hold the valves in. So pretty much how it works is it just pushes down on this outside retainer right here. And then this valve has a groove along the inside right here at the top. And so when it pushes that down, it allows the stem in the middle there of the valve to kind of poke up out of there. And then these 2 little clips kind of fall into that groove and they just hold it all together. So when you push this down, you can pull those 2 little guys out and then the valve will come right out through the bottom. So our tool does work. As you can see, we got it all right here. Here's my welds like on the back side of it. Looking pretty decent. So I am definitely happy with it. I am surprised it worked. And what we actually ended up doing to the top of this, because it wasn't really staying in place on its own, we just drilled out this hole a little bigger on top and then just big enough to where this bolt would start to thread into it, and we just threaded the bolt into the top of this guy right here. So it just spins all together as one unit. It just spins the top of this like retainer right here all together, and then it just compresses the spring, but it works. All right, so real quick, I wanted to show you guys how well our little thing is actually working. On this guy right here, the part that actually pushes down, I went ahead and added like a little piece of welding wire right there on the bottom of it. It's not focused on it, but there's a piece of wire right there. And what that does is help it from kind of trying to slide off. So that little piece of wire grabs onto the edge right there and it just keeps it flat. So as you can see, I got this one off right here and I'm gonna take this one off right now. I'm gonna show you guys how well our little thing we made actually works. So you just get it lined up like that. Then I grab my wrench or my ratchet and tighten it down. So yeah, I just have to help it around a little bit just to keep the bolt from going through. But as you can see, it is working really good. Like it's squishing it. And there you go. Can't really see it because I don't got a light in here, but the little retainers popped out. So I just get a magnet and there's one right there. I'm going to try to get the other guy. There's the other one right there. So as you can tell, it works pretty good. And the valve on the inside of there is pretty lined up, so putting it back together shouldn't be too hard, even though that's the shitty part. But I'm gonna keep getting it apart and I'll get back to you guys once I get all the valves out. All right, so I just got all the springs out. So our little invention actually worked pretty good. And real quick, I was gonna show you guys again just to see it unbolted from the head, how we made it. So yeah, that's just Charlie's old winch mount right there. And then we just got some lug nuts welded on there with this bolt. And yeah, pushes down on them, works good. A little bit better view of one of my welds on the back there. So yeah, pretty sick that that actually worked. Probably gonna hang on to that because we may need it again in the future. And so right now I have the head just kind of hanging off the edge of the bench. And I was just gonna show you guys, once you get the spring off of there, right now the valve is just floating. The only thing holding it up is the valve seal right now. So I can just push it down and actually come underneath right here. And well, I'm gonna need to move the head over, but you can just pull this guy out like that. And there you go. So that is the first exhaust valve. As you can see, it's all black with shit on there. But yeah, not too bad. So I'm gonna take all those valves out and then just line them up how they came out and make sure I don't get the exhaust and intake valves confused with each other. And something I realized for today, before I can pull out all of these valves and get the valves lapped and then get my new seals in there, I am gonna need to find a wire wheel because for one, I wanna clean off all this old soot on the bottom of the valve right here, and also I need to clean off the bottom of each one because I will show you in the next video because I can't do it tonight, but to lap the valves, you need this surface on the bottom to be clean because you take this little kind of suction cup thing and then that needs to stick onto the bottom of that and then you spin it with your hands. But I don't have a wire wheel right now to clean it off and it is getting pretty late. So I am gonna end it for right here. I will get this done tomorrow. It's just I need to go grab a wire wheel. I do have one at my parents' house I can grab real quick. I should have thought of that sooner, but it's whatever. The car's not gonna be done for a minute anyways, so I'm still waiting on the crank and the clutch isn't gonna be here for a few days anyway as well, probably not for a week. And it's also Christmas, so I'm sure stuff's gonna be even later this time of year. But I'm just glad our little tool actually worked. I did get all the springs out right here. Those are the intake side right here, or actually the exhaust ones, and then the intakes over there. I'm not sure if they are different, but I just kept them in order just to be sure. But yeah, so in the next video tomorrow, I will be getting all of these done.